Ladies and gentlemen, there are moments in life when you look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I really doing everything I can? Am I pushing myself to be the best version of myself? You see, every one of us has a choice in how we approach life. Every day we wake up, we're given an opportunity. You can either make excuses or you can take action. You can either sit back and blame the world, or you can stand up and take responsibility for your own destiny. There is no excuse for not trying. Now, some of you might be thinking, but life is hard. Things aren't going the way I planned. I've had setbacks. I've been knocked down. Well, guess what? You're not the only one. Every successful person you admire, every person who has overcome adversity, every person who has made a difference, they faced obstacles. They've been knocked down, but they got back up. They didn't make excuses. They didn't say, well, this is it for me. No, they kept going. They kept fighting. And the reason they kept going is because they understood one thing: there is no excuse for not trying. You see, failure is part of the journey. You cannot grow without failure. You cannot reach greatness without stepping out of your comfort zone. People like to talk about success like it's a straight path, like it's just this easy ride from point A to point B. But I'm here to tell you that's a lie. The truth is, success is messy. Success is tough. Success requires you to get dirty. It requires you to get knocked down and get back up again and again and again and again. And at each step, the key is not letting fear or failure stop you from trying. There is no excuse for not trying. When you fail, when you fall short, that's when you learn. That's when you build character. That's when you build resilience. People who try and fail are stronger than those who never try at all. Why? Because failure is not the end of the story, it's just a chapter. And the people who succeed are those who understand that the real failure is in not trying, not in falling short. When you don't try, you guarantee failure. When you don't put yourself out there, you ensure that you'll never know how high you could have flown. Now let's talk about fear. Fear is that little voice inside your head that says, you're not good enough, or you can't do it. Fear will try to hold you back. It will tell you that you're not ready, that you're too old, too young, too inexperienced, too whatever. Fear doesn't care about your dreams, your goals, or your potential. Fear just wants you to stay comfortable. But here's the thing: comfort is the enemy of growth. If you're comfortable, you're not growing. If you're not growing, you're not living. Every time fear creeps up, that's when you need to push even harder. Fear doesn't control you unless you let it. Fear is just an emotion, it's a feeling. And feelings can be changed. The way to overcome fear is not to avoid it, but to face it. Stand in front of it, stare it down, and say, you don't own me, you don't control me. You won't stop me from trying. There is no excuse for not trying, even when fear is standing in your way. And let me tell you something else. There are people who will doubt you. They'll say you can't do it. They'll try to tell you that you're not qualified, not good enough, that you should give up. But I need you to understand this: other people's doubts are not your limitations. Other people's opinions are not your reality. Just because someone says you can't do something doesn't mean you can't. It means that they have limited vision. It means they can't see the greatness that lies within you. Listen, there's always going to be someone who tries to tear you down. There's always going to be someone who says you can't. But what they don't understand is that your potential is not defined by their doubts. Your potential is defined by your belief in yourself. Your belief that no matter what happens, you will keep trying. You will keep pushing. You will keep pushing. You will keep fighting. There is no excuse for not trying, no matter how many people tell you that you can't. Now, some of you might be looking at where you are right now and thinking, well, I'm not where I want to be. I'm not where I thought I'd be at this point in my life, but you're still here. And as long as you're still breathing, you have an opportunity to change the direction of your life. Just because you're not where you want to be right now doesn't mean you won't get there. Success is not about being perfect, and it's not about being the smartest, the most talented, or the most experienced. Success is about persistence. It's about the will to keep going, even when it's hard, even when you feel like quitting, even when everything is falling apart. And let me tell you something: if you keep going, if you keep trying, you will get there. There is no excuse for not trying. Look, we all have our challenges, we all have our struggles, we all have our reasons to quit. our reasons to give up, our reasons to throw in the towel. But you need to ask yourself, what are you going to do with those reasons? Are you going to let them define you? Are you going to let them control you? Are you going to let them be the excuse that stops you from achieving your dreams? I'm telling you right now, you have the power to change your life. You have the power to change your story. You have the power to decide that no matter how tough things get, you're going to keep trying. You're going to keep fighting. You're going to keep believing. There is no excuse for not trying. The thing is, every single day is a choice. Every day you wake up, you have a choice. You can choose to make excuses, or you can choose to take action. You can choose to sit there and complain about what's not working, or you can choose to put in the effort, the energy, and the time to make it work. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simply this: the successful ones never stop trying. They never stop pushing. They never stop believing in their ability to change, to grow, and to win. And you can be one of those people too. But you have to decide. You have to decide that no matter what, you're going to keep trying. You have to decide that you won't let fear stop you. You have to decide that you won't let other people's doubts hold you back. You have to decide that you will not make excuses. You have to decide that the only thing standing between you and your goals is the effort you're willing to put in. And you have to believe that your efforts will pay off. That's how you win. That's how you succeed. That's how you make it. So when you're faced with a choice, when you're faced with a challenge, when you're up against a wall and you feel like giving up, ask yourself this: what is my excuse? What's stopping me from trying? And then ask yourself, why not me? Why not now? Why not keep going? Because I promise you, the only thing that will ever truly hold you back is your own refusal to try. And there is no excuse for that. There is no excuse for not trying. At the end of the day, you are in control of your own story. You are the author of your own life. And if you want to make it, if you want to succeed, if you want to reach your fullest potential, then you must make one commitment to yourself: there is no excuse for not trying. No excuse for not trying. Life presents obstacles and challenges, but the real failure lies in not trying at all. Success is about persistence and the willingness to face setbacks without making excuses. Fear, failure, and doubt are inevitable, but they don't define you. The key is not to avoid them, but to confront and push through them. Overcoming these mental barriers is essential for growth and success. People may doubt your potential, but their opinions do not determine your future. Your belief in yourself and your willingness to keep going despite others' doubts is what leads to success. Persistence over peak success isn't about being the best or the most talented. It's about consistent effort and the ability to keep trying, even when things aren't going according to plan. Persistence, not perfection, is the key to achieving your goals. Every day that you wake up, you're given an opportunity. You wake up with a fresh set of challenges, but you also wake up with the chance to make progress, to move forward, and to build the life you want. But here's the thing: many people don't take full advantage of this opportunity. They wake up, they go through the motions, and they make excuses. They convince themselves that today isn't the day to take action, that tomorrow will be better, that the circumstances aren't right, or that they're just not good enough. The truth is, there is no excuse for not trying. Think about it. Life doesn't care about your excuses. The world doesn't stop because you didn't give it your best. Time keeps moving, and every day that you choose not to try, you miss an opportunity to grow. Now, I'm not saying you won't face difficulties. I'm not saying that everything you try will succeed on the first try. But the point is that you can't let fear, doubt, or the potential of failure stop you from taking action. Life isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up. It's about putting one foot in front of the other and trying no matter the outcome. And the beautiful thing about trying is that even when things don't go your way, you still learn something. You've still grown, you've still moved forward. That's more than most people can say, because most people sit on the sidelines, too afraid to make a move. They get caught in the trap of waiting for the perfect moment, the right opportunity, or the perfect conditions, but those things rarely exist. The best moment to try is the one right in front of you right now. We all have goals. We all have dreams. We all have things we want to achieve. But what separates those who reach their goals from those who don't is simple action. You've got to be willing to do the work. You've got to be willing to try, even when it feels uncomfortable, even when it feels uncertain, even when you feel like you might fail. The people who succeed aren't the ones who have the least fear or doubt. They're the ones who keep trying in spite of it. They understand that failure isn't the end. It's just a lesson, a stepping stone, and a necessary part of the journey. And let's not forget, making excuses is easy. It's easy to convince yourself that you're too busy, too tired, too old, or too inexperienced. Excuses are the most comfortable thing in the world. They provide a way to avoid responsibility. They give you a reason to not try. But excuses also keep you stuck. They keep you from reaching your potential. They keep you from living the life you're capable of living. Think about all the things you've ever wanted to achieve, all the goals you've had, and think about how many of those things you never even attempted. Why? Because of fear, because you thought it was too hard, because you believe someone else's doubt over your own belief in yourself. Every time you make an excuse, you're letting another opportunity slip away. And every opportunity you let slip away is one step further from the life you want. You might look around and see others who seem to have everything going for them. Maybe they seem more talented, more successful, or just more lucky than you. But here's the truth: luck has nothing to do with it. Success is not about being in the right place at the right time. It's about showing up. It's about putting in the work, staying consistent, and pushing through even when it feels like you're getting nowhere. People who succeed are those who put in the hours, the energy, and the effort, no matter how small the steps may seem. They don't make excuses, they make progress. Now, let's talk about what it means to truly try. Trying isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's not about having it all figured out. Trying is about being willing to put yourself out there even when you don't have all the answers, even when you don't know what the outcome will be. It's about showing up and doing the work day after day, no matter how difficult it seems. When you try, you give yourself a chance. You give yourself an opportunity to learn, to fail, and to grow. And with each step forward, you get closer to where you want to be. I want you to think about the times you've tried something in your life, even if it didn't work out. You tried to learn a new skill. You tried to start a new job. You tried to repair a relationship. You tried, and even if things didn't turn out the way you hoped, you gained something valuable. You gained experience. You gained knowledge. You gained confidence in yourself. And that, my friend, is priceless. Because every time you try, you build a muscle of persistence, resilience, and self-belief. And that muscle, over time, will carry you further than you ever thought possible. But when you don't try, you don't get that growth. You don't get that experience. You don't get to learn what works and what doesn't. And most importantly, you don't get the chance to succeed. You can't succeed if you're not even willing to try. So every time you catch yourself making excuses, stop and ask yourself, is this really an excuse? Or is this a reason I'm hiding behind because I'm afraid to take the leap? It's easy to stay in your comfort zone, to stay in a place where you're familiar with the risks. But growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. Success doesn't happen there. The only place you'll find success is in the place where you're willing to try, to take risks, and to challenge yourself. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. No one ever said that. But the path to greatness is never easy. The path to achieving your dreams is never a straight line. It's full of bumps, twists, turns, and detours. But those bumps, those detours, they're part of the process. They're part of the journey that takes you from where you are to where you want to be. And every time you face a setback and get back up, you are growing. You are evolving. You are getting closer to your goals. And here's something else you need to realize: when you make excuses, you're not just holding yourself back, you're also limiting your impact. Fear and doubt are inevitable in life. They are part of the human experience. When you decide to take on something challenging, when you set out to achieve something meaningful, fear and doubt are always waiting to greet you at the door. They are like unwelcome guests that show up uninvited, but their presence doesn't mean you should turn away. In fact, fear and doubt are signs that you're on the right path. If you're not feeling some level of discomfort, if you're not facing uncertainty, then you're probably not pushing yourself far enough. fear and doubt are part of the journey towards success. And if you're going to reach your fullest potential, you have to learn to embrace them rather than run from them. Let's start with fear. Fear is a natural, instinctive response to the unknown. It's a survival mechanism that's been ingrained in us for millennia, meant to keep us safe from danger. But when you're trying to grow, to step into new challenges, to take risks, fear can feel overwhelming. Fear will try to convince you that you're not capable, that you don't have the skill, the experience, or the confidence to succeed. It will whisper in your ear, telling you to play it safe, to stay in your comfort zone, to avoid making any waves. Fear will say, why risk it, why bother? And if you listen to fear, you'll miss out on the opportunities that come with growth, change, and success. The truth is, fear is something we all deal with. Every successful person, every person who has ever achieved greatness has faced fear. It's how you respond to fear that makes the difference. Some people allow fear to control them, to paralyze them into inaction. They let it dictate their decisions and hold them back from pursuing their goals. Others, however, learn to confront fear head on. They acknowledge it, but they don't let it define them. They understand that fear is a sign that they are stepping outside their comfort zone, which is where all the growth happens. When you feel fear, it's because you're moving in the direction of something big, something important. Fear doesn't go away just because you acknowledge it, but over time you become better at managing it. The key is to not let fear stop you from taking action. The fear of failure, the fear of making mistakes, the fear of looking foolish, they're all part of the process. You can't let fear be the thing that holds you back. Instead, use fear as fuel. Use it as a reminder that you're on the edge of something great, something worth pursuing. When fear arises, ask yourself, what is this fear telling me? Often it's telling you that you're on the brink of something important. Fear is a signal, not a stop sign. Doubt, on the other hand, is a little different. While fear comes from an external source, doubt comes from within. It's the voice in your head that says you're not good enough. It's the inner critic that questions your abilities, your worth, your potential. It's the part of you that wonders if you really have what it takes to succeed. Doubt can be crippling because it often makes you second guess everything. It can make you question your decisions, your talent, and even your right to dream. Doubt doesn't care how hard you've worked or how many achievements you've already made. It's relentless. It doesn't take into account the progress you've made or the obstacles you've already overcome. It's simply there, reminding you of all the ways you might fail. The truth is, doubt is something you have to learn to live with. If you allow doubt to take hold of you, it can prevent you from even starting. But just like fear, doubt doesn't have to control you. Doubt is a normal part of the human condition. Even the most accomplished individuals have moments where they doubt themselves. The difference is that those who succeed don't let doubt stop them. They acknowledge it, they face it, but they don't let it dictate their actions. They understand that doubt is just another hurdle in the path to success. It's not a reason to quit, it's a reason to keep going. The more you face your doubt, the less power it has over you. Think about the people who have achieved greatness. Every successful person you admire has had moments of doubt. They faced fear. They felt the weight of uncertainty. But instead of backing down, they've chosen to push through. They've chosen to act in spite of their fear, to take the next step even when they weren't sure of the outcome. They've chosen to believe in themselves even when doubt tried to tell them they weren't good enough. The truth is, no one is born with absolute certainty. Everyone has doubts. What sets successful people apart is their ability to keep going, even when they don't have all the answers. One of the hardest parts of dealing with fear and doubt is that they are often tied to our sense of identity. We fear failure because we fear what it says about us. We doubt ourselves because we question whether we deserve success. But here's the thing, failure doesn't define you. It's just a part of the process. It's not a reflection of who you are as a person. And success doesn't make you better than anyone else. It just means you've taken the steps to achieve your goals. The more you realize that fear and doubt are just temporary emotions, the less power they have over you. They don't define you, and they don't control your future. What defines you is your ability to keep moving forward, to keep trying, and to keep believing in yourself, even when fear and doubt are in the picture. Another important thing to realize is that fear and doubt often arise when you're stepping into unfamiliar territory. When you're doing something new, something that stretches you, fear and doubt are going to show up. And that's okay. It's a sign that you're growing. The more you step outside of your comfort zone, the more fear and doubt will try to come up and hold you back. But as you keep pushing forward, you start to build confidence in your ability to handle those feelings. Over time, you start to realize that fear and doubt are not as powerful as they seem. You start to see them for what they truly are, just emotions, temporary feelings that pass when you take action. And it's important to understand that you don't need to have everything figured out before you start. You don't need to have all the answers, all the skills, or all the experience. You don't need to wait until you feel 100% confident. Confidence comes through action. The more you act, the more you learn, and the more you grow. Fear and doubt will always be there, but they don't have to stop you from moving forward. The key is to take one step at a time to keep going, even when you don't feel ready. Sometimes fear and doubt come from the stories we tell ourselves. We tell ourselves that we're not capable, that we'll fail, that others are better than we are. These are just stories that we've created in our minds based on past experiences or other people's opinions. But the truth is, these stories don't define you unless you let them. You have the power to rewrite your story. You have the power to tell yourself that you are capable, that you are deserving, and that you can succeed. Your story is not written by your fears or doubts. Your story is written by your actions, by your choices, and by your willingness to face the unknown. The most important thing you can do when fear and doubt arise is to keep going. Keep trying. Keep trying. Keep moving. Understand that these feelings are just part of the process, part of the journey. They don't have to control you. They don't have to stop you. They are simply signals that you are pushing yourself, that you are doing something worthwhile. The more you face your fears, the more you take action in the face of doubt, the less power these emotions will have over you. Fear and doubt are just part of the journey, but they don't have to be the end of the road. Keep going, keep believing in yourself. Because the only way to truly succeed is to face these feelings head on and keep moving forward anyway. Throughout life, you will encounter people who doubt you. You will face moments when others question your abilities, your potential, and even your right to pursue your dreams. These doubts can come from all directions: friends, family, colleagues, or even strangers. Sometimes they'll be expressed openly in words or actions. Other times they may be implied in the way people dismiss your ideas or belittle your ambitions. But here's something you must understand: other people's doubts do not define you. Their opinions of your worth or capabilities are not your reality unless you allow them to be. There's an unfortunate yet common pattern that happens when others doubt us. We begin to internalize their opinions. We start to wonder, what if they're right? Their doubt seeps into our thoughts, and over time, it becomes a lens through which we view ourselves. Their words can start to feel like our own truths. This is a dangerous cycle because it holds us back from reaching our full potential. It limits what we believe we can achieve. But the truth is, someone else's doubts don't define your reality. Your reality is defined by what you believe about yourself and the actions you take in response to that belief. The first thing you need to understand is that doubt is a reflection of others' perceptions, not your own potential. When someone doubts you, it's often because they have limited vision. They can only see what they know based on their own experiences and worldview. And the reality is their vision might be narrow. They might not understand the depth of your capabilities or the strength of your ambitions. Their doubts are shaped by their limitations, not yours. Their opinions are informed by their fears, their biases, and their insecurities, not by your truth or your potential. Imagine a child learning to walk. As they take their first steps, they stumble, they fall. But does that mean the child is incapable of walking? Of course not. The doubt that comes from the fall doesn't define the child's future ability to walk. It's simply part of the process of learning and growing. In the same way, when others doubt you, it's just a reflection of their inability to see the future version of you that you're working toward. People may judge you by where you are right now, not where you're headed. But your journey is not defined by the present moment. It's defined by your vision, your determination, and your willingness to keep going, even when others doubt you. Many times, people project their doubts onto you because they're afraid. They're afraid of your success. They're afraid of your potential. They're afraid of what it might mean if you go further than they did. if you achieve more than they have. Sometimes their doubts come from a place of insecurity. They might not feel capable of achieving the same things you're aiming for, and instead of supporting you, they try to pull you down to the level of their own self-imposed limitations. It's easy for others to doubt what they themselves cannot see or achieve, but just because someone else lacks vision doesn't mean you have to. When you internalize someone else's doubts, you essentially give them control over your future. You let their limiting beliefs dictate your own possibilities. You give them power over your dreams. But here's the hard truth: when you let others' doubts control you, you are giving up on your own power. The only person who truly determines your worth is you. The only person who can define your limits is you. No one else gets to decide what you're capable of, and no one else gets to decide how far you can go. So stop giving that power away. Stop letting other people's doubts hold you back from your potential. One of the most powerful things you can do is to tune out the negativity of others and focus on your own path. It's not about ignoring feedback or constructive criticism. It's about distinguishing between helpful guidance and limiting judgment. Constructive feedback can help you grow, but doubt and negativity often come from a place of fear and small-mindedness. When people doubt you, it's usually more about their own fears and less about your actual abilities. People who doubt you might not understand your passion, your vision, or your drive. They might not have the same hunger or ambition. But that's okay, because it's your journey, not theirs. When you embark on something big, something that requires courage, there will always be people who don't understand. But that's not your problem. It's not your job to convince everyone of your worth. The only person you need to convince is yourself. You need to believe in your own abilities, your own strengths, and your own potential. Because the truth is, if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will either. Confidence isn't something you can get from other people's approval. It comes from within. You've got to learn to block out the noise. When people doubt you, don't take it personally. Don't internalize their judgments. Just because they doubt you doesn't mean you're not worthy. It doesn't mean you're not capable. Their doubts say more about them than they do about you. And often the louder the doubt, the closer you are to achieving something significant. Think about all the great figures in history who faced doubts. Think about all the people who were told they couldn't, shouldn't, or wouldn't succeed only to prove their doubters wrong. Every success story is filled with moments where others doubted, but those individuals pushed through anyway. Consider the story of Thomas Edison, who famously failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. He faced constant ridicule, and people doubted his ability to achieve anything substantial. Yet he persisted, refusing to let anyone else's doubts stop him from reaching his goal. Edison's belief in himself and his vision was stronger than the doubts of others. He understood that the path to success is often paved with failure and skepticism. And that doesn't mean you stop trying, it means you keep going no matter what others say. Well, think about J.K. Rowling, who was rejected by numerous publishers before finally getting a deal for Harry Potter. She was a single mother living in poverty when she wrote the first book, and many people doubted her ability to succeed. Some even went as far as to tell her to give up, to stop wasting her time. But she didn't listen. She kept writing. She kept believing in her story. And the rest is history. She turned her vision into one of the most successful book series and movie franchises in the world. The key here is that neither Edison nor Rowling allowed the doubts of others to determine their futures. They trusted themselves. They trusted their instincts. They didn't stop moving forward just because someone else didn't believe in them. And that's what you need to do as well. Don't let anyone else's doubt define you. Don't let their limited vision stop you from seeing the bigger picture. Don't let their fears impose limitations on what you're capable of. It's important to remember that when you face doubt from others, it doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. In fact, it's often a sign that you're doing something right. When you're trying to accomplish something meaningful, something that requires you to grow, to stretch, and to push past your limits, there will always be those who can't see your vision. And that's okay.